My beloved child, be still for a moment. Set aside the noise that has followed you throughout this day. Lay down the weight you have been carrying on your shoulders. Forget, just for this moment, the voices that have told you that you are not enough. Listen carefully. I am speaking to your heart. Perhaps you have reached a place where you no longer expect anyone to stay. Maybe you have learned to smile while hiding your tears. Maybe you have become so accustomed to disappointment that you no longer tell people how much you hurt. But I know the silent battles you never speak about. I know the nights when sleep escaped from you because your mind was filled with questions. I know the mornings when you forced yourself to get out of bed even though your heart felt exhausted. Nothing about your pain has been hidden from me. There is someone listening to these words today who believes they have been forgotten. You have watched people make promises they never intended to keep. You trusted them. You loved them. You believed they would stand beside you forever. Yet one by one, they walked away. Some left because life became difficult. Some left because they misunderstood you. Others left without giving you a reason. Their absence left a wound so deep that you wondered if anyone could ever truly love you. My child, I never left. Even when you stopped praying for a while, I remained beside you. Even when your faith became weak, I remained faithful. Even when you questioned whether I was listening, I was already preparing the answer. You measure love by who stayed. I measure love by the cross. I chose you long before you chose me. Before your first breath, I already knew your name. Before anyone celebrated your birth, I had written purpose into your life. You are not an accident. You are not forgotten. You are not unwanted. You belong to me. Let me tell you about someone whose story may sound familiar. His name is Ethan. Most people believed Ethan had everything: a steady job, a comfortable home, friends who laughed with him, pictures that made his life appear perfect. But photographs never reveal the tears that fall after midnight. Every evening, Ethan sat beside the same window, staring into the darkness outside. He often whispered, "God, if you are really here, why does everyone leave?" No one heard those words. No one except me. One evening, after another painful disappointment, Ethan closed the curtains and sat alone on the floor. He wasn't angry anymore. He wasn't even crying. He simply felt empty. Silence filled the room. Then, in that quiet moment, he remembered something his grandmother had once told him as a little boy. She had smiled and said, "Ethan, people may leave you, but Jesus never will." As a child, he believed those words. As an adult, he had forgotten them. That night, they returned to his heart, not because someone preached to him, not because someone forced him, but because I gently reminded him of my promise. I speak softly. I do not shout over the noise of the world. I wait patiently until your heart becomes quiet enough to hear my voice. Many people expect me to appear through dramatic miracles. Sometimes I do, but many times I come through a simple reminder, a verse, a memory, a kind stranger, a peaceful moment, or a message like the one you are hearing now. Perhaps you think this message appeared by coincidence. It did not. You are hearing these words because I know exactly where you are. I know what happened this week. I know the conversation that broke your heart. I know the disappointment you have not shared with anyone. I know the fear you carry about tomorrow. And I want you to hear this clearly. You are not facing tomorrow alone. I will walk before you. I will walk beside you. I will walk behind you. Even when you cannot see my hand, you are still in my care. Do not mistake silence for absence. A seed grows underground long before anyone sees the harvest. In the same way, I am working in places you cannot yet see. Your waiting is not wasted. Your tears are not ignored. Your prayers have not disappeared into empty space. Every prayer reaches me. Every tear matters to me. Every heartbeat is known by me. There are moments when I allow doors to close because I can see what lies behind them. You only see today's disappointment. I see tomorrow's protection. You call it rejection. Sometimes it is my rescue. You call it delay. Sometimes it is my preparation. You call it loss. Sometimes it is the beginning of something greater than you imagine. Trust me, Not because life is easy, trust me, because my character never changes. People change, circumstances change, feelings change, but my love remains the same forever. If the entire world turned its back on you, you would still have someone who refuses to leave. That someone is me. So today, lift your eyes. Do not let hopelessness become your permanent home. This chapter is not your entire story. I am still writing. And when I write, grace has the final word. Hope has the final word. Mercy has the final word. Love has the final word. My beloved child, take one more step. Pray one more prayer. Believe one more time. Because I am closer than you realize. And the day is coming when you will look back and understand why I never allowed you to walk through this valley alone. For now, simply remember my promise. When everyone walks away from you, I will still be with you, and I never break my promises. My beloved child, there are moments when silence feels heavier than words. You pray, but heaven seems quiet. You wait, but nothing appears to change. You wonder if I have forgotten your name. But listen carefully. Silence has never meant my absence. Many of my greatest works begin where human eyes can see nothing. Just as a seed grows beneath the soil before anyone celebrates the harvest, I often work in places your eyes cannot reach. You see delay, I see preparation. You see an ending, I see a beginning. You see an empty road, I see the destination waiting ahead. Remember Ethan? That night, after sitting on the floor with tears filling his eyes, he whispered a simple prayer. Jesus, if you are truly with me, give me one reason not to give up. He expected thunder. He expected a miracle. Instead, the room remained quiet. For a moment, he thought nothing had happened. The next morning, he woke up feeling the same sadness, the same empty apartment, the same unanswered questions. Nothing around him had changed. But something inside him had begun to change. That change was me. I was strengthening a heart that had almost stopped believing. Many people miss my miracles because they are looking only for changes around them. Sometimes my first miracle happens within you. I replace fear with peace, bitterness with forgiveness, confusion with wisdom, weakness with quiet strength. Those miracles cannot always be seen by others, but they transform everything. Ethan went to work that morning carrying the same responsibilities he had carried for years. Yet he noticed something different. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he found himself asking, "Jesus, what are you teaching me?" That single question changed the direction of his life. My child, pain can make your heart hard, or it can make your faith deeper. The choice is always before you. Do not allow disappointment to become your identity. What happened to you is not who you are. People may have rejected you, but I have chosen you. Someone may have abandoned you, but I remain faithful. Someone may have spoken words that wounded your heart, but my words bring life. Never allow another person's opinion to become louder than my promises. I call you loved. I call you forgiven. I call you valuable. I call you mine. Days passed. Ethan began spending a few quiet minutes with me every morning. Not because life had become easy, but because he was learning to trust me before he understood me. One afternoon, while walking home through a small park, he noticed an elderly man struggling to carry several grocery bags. Most people hurried past. Ethan almost did the same. Then he felt a gentle whisper in his heart. "Help him." He picked up the bags and walked beside the man. The elderly man smiled warmly. "Thank you," he said. "I've been praying all morning that God would send someone." Ethan stood still. He realized something beautiful. While he had been asking me for purpose, I had already begun using him to answer someone else's prayer. Never underestimate small acts of kindness, a gentle word, a helping hand, a patient heart. These are often the ways my light enters a dark world. You may believe your life has no purpose because your dreams have not unfolded the way you expected. But purpose is not always found on a stage. Sometimes it begins in ordinary moments. A conversation, a prayer, a decision to forgive, a choice to keep going. I use ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Do not wait until you feel perfect before allowing me to work through you. I have never required perfection. I ask only for willingness. Some of the people I used most powerfully were the ones who believed they had the least to offer. Remember this. Your weaknesses do not frighten me. Your failures do not surprise me. Your scars do not disqualify you. In fact, the places where you have been broken often become the places where my light shines brightest. There is someone listening today who keeps asking, Jesus, when will my life finally make sense? The answer is closer than you think. One day you will look back and realize that every closed door protected you. Every delay prepared you. Every disappointment redirected you. Every lonely season taught you to depend on me instead of temporary things. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear. Not one sleepless night. Not one painful memory. I can redeem what others tried to destroy. That is what I do. I restore. I heal. I rebuild. I make all things new. Ethan did not become fearless overnight. Some evenings he still felt lonely. Some mornings doubt returned. Faith is not the absence of struggle. Faith is choosing to trust me even while the struggle continues. Whenever fear whispered, "You are alone," my spirit reminded him, "I am here." Whenever anxiety said, "You have no future," I answered, "I already hold tomorrow." Whenever regret accused him, I reminded him of my mercy. Slowly, Ethan discovered that peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of Christ. My beloved child, that same peace is available to you today. Not because you have earned it, but because I freely give it to those who come to me. So stop measuring your future by your current circumstances. Your present season is not your permanent destination. The chapter you are living today is not the end of your story. Keep walking, keep praying, keep believing. Even if your progress feels slow, even if no one notices, I notice. Every faithful step matters to me, and I promise you this. The day is coming when what once made you cry will become the testimony that strengthens someone else. I will use your story. I will use your scars. I will use your faith, because nothing surrendered into my hands is ever wasted. So when the night grows quiet again, do not fear the silence. Listen carefully. You will hear my promise echoing in your heart once more. When everyone walks away from you, I will still be with you, and my presence will always be enough. There is a question that has echoed through countless hearts. Jesus, why did you allow them to leave? I know how much that question hurts. You replay conversations in your mind. You wonder what you could have done differently. You search for answers that never seem to come. Sometimes you blame yourself. Sometimes you blame others. Sometimes you even wonder if I have forgotten you. But hear me today, not every ending is a punishment. Some endings are protection. Some goodbyes are the beginning of my greater plan. There are people who enter your life for a season, and there are those who remain for a lifetime. When a season ends, holding on to what I have released only creates more pain. Trust me enough to let go. I can see what you cannot. I know the roads ahead. I know the conversations that have not yet happened. I know the opportunities waiting around the next corner. I know the dangers I have already protected you from. If I close a door, it is never because I delight in your disappointment. I close it because I love you too much to let you walk into what would ultimately harm you. Remember Ethan? Weeks had passed since the night he cried out to me. He was beginning to heal, but he still carried unanswered questions. One afternoon, he received a message from someone who had once been very important in his life. For a moment, his heart raced. He thought, maybe everything is finally going back to the way it was. But as the conversation unfolded, he realized something. The person had not changed. The same hurtful patterns, the same empty promises, the same selfish intentions. This time, however, Ethan noticed something different within himself. He no longer felt desperate to hold on. Instead of chasing what was leaving, he chose to trust the one who had never left. That was not weakness. That was growth. My child, healing does not always mean the pain disappears overnight. Healing means the pain no longer controls your decisions. There are moments when letting go feels impossible. Yet what you place into my hands, I am able to restore, replace, or redeem according to my perfect wisdom. Never believe the lie that losing someone means losing your future. Your future has never depended on another person's decision. Your future has always rested safely in my hands. I am the author of your story. No human being has the power to erase the purpose I have written for your life. Perhaps today you are standing in front of a closed door. Do not spend all your strength trying to force it open. Instead, ask me where I am leading you next. Sometimes my greatest blessings are hidden behind the doors you never expected to walk through. A month later, Ethan was invited by a coworker to volunteer at a community outreach event. At first, he almost declined. He thought he had nothing valuable to offer, but something within him whispered, "Go." He obeyed. That single decision changed more than one life. While serving meals and listening to people share their stories, Ethan met individuals who had endured hardships far greater than his own. Some had lost their homes, some had lost loved ones, some had overcome addiction, yet many of them still smiled with hope. He was amazed. On his way home, Ethan prayed, "Jesus, I thought I was the one who needed help. But today you showed me that you can use even my brokenness to encourage someone else." My beloved child, this is one of the beautiful mysteries of my kingdom. The comfort you receive from me is often meant to become comfort for someone else. The compassion born from your suffering becomes a gift to those who are hurting. The tears you once cried in secret become words of hope for another weary soul. Nothing is wasted when it is placed in my hands. There is someone listening to my voice right now who believes your best days are behind you. That is not true. Do not let yesterday define tomorrow. I am doing a new thing, even if you cannot see it yet, even if you cannot feel it yet, even if the path ahead seems uncertain. Walk by faith, not by fear. Fear focuses on what could go wrong. Faith trusts the one who holds every tomorrow. You do not have to know every step. You only need to trust the one who is leading you. I have never asked you to carry the burden of knowing the future. That burden belongs to me. Your responsibility is simple. Stay close to me. Seek my voice. Walk in obedience one day at a time. The future will unfold exactly when it should. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. Some people bloom in one season, others bloom later. But every flower opens according to the time I have appointed. So stop believing that you are behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. I know exactly where you are, and I know exactly where I am leading you. Ethan began to understand this truth. His circumstances had not suddenly become perfect, but his heart was becoming stronger. He laughed more. He prayed more. He worried less. He trusted more. Not because every question had been answered, but because he had discovered that my presence was more valuable than all the answers he had been searching for. My child, that same invitation is before you today. Do not build your life on temporary people or changing circumstances. Build it upon my love. People may disappoint you, life may surprise you, dreams may take longer than expected, but I will remain faithful. I have never abandoned my children. I never will. So if you are standing before another closed door today, do not be afraid. Lift your eyes. Take my hand. The next door I open will come at the right time, in the right way, according to my perfect plan. Until then, rest in this promise. When everyone walks away from you, I will still be with you. And with me beside you, your story is far from over. My beloved child, waiting is one of the hardest journeys you will ever experience. You can endure many things if you know exactly when they will end. But waiting without knowing the day or the hour tests your heart in ways nothing else can. Some of you listening today have been waiting for months. Others have been waiting for years. You have prayed for healing. You have prayed for restoration. You have prayed for peace in your family. You have prayed for a door to open. Sometimes you have whispered, "Jesus, how much longer?" I have heard every one of those prayers. Not a single word has escaped my attention. When I seem silent, it does not mean I have stopped working. A builder lays the foundation before anyone admires the house. A farmer prepares the soil before the harvest appears. In the same way, I prepare blessings before you can see them. If I gave you everything immediately, you might miss the lessons that would prepare your heart to receive it wisely. So do not despise your season of waiting. Many of the greatest miracles begin there. Remember Ethan? As the weeks passed, he found himself growing stronger in faith. Not because life had suddenly become perfect, There were still bills to pay. There were still lonely evenings. There were still moments when old memories tried to steal his peace. But something had changed. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he began asking, "Jesus, how can I honor you today?" That simple change transformed his entire outlook. One rainy afternoon, Ethan visited a small neighborhood cafe after work. He noticed a young woman sitting alone by the window. Her name was Grace. She wasn't crying, but her eyes carried the same quiet sadness Ethan had once known. Their conversation began with nothing more than a smile and a kind greeting. They spoke about ordinary things: life, work, family, and faith. Before leaving, Grace quietly admitted, "I've been wondering if God still sees me." Ethan smiled gently, not because he had all the answers, but because he remembered the night he had asked the very same question. He shared a simple truth. "There was a time when I believed I was completely alone, but Jesus stayed with me, even when I couldn't feel his presence." Those words were not a sermon. They were a testimony, and testimonies carry a power that arguments never can. My beloved child, never underestimate the influence of your story. Someone is waiting to hear what I have done in your life, not because your journey has been perfect, but because I remain faithful through every imperfect moment. Your scars can become someone else's hope. Your perseverance can inspire another weary heart. Your faith can remind someone that I still perform miracles. Perhaps you believe your life has been too broken to make a difference. That is exactly what the enemy wants you to believe. But I specialize in restoring broken things. I restore hearts. I restore dreams. I restore families. I restore hope. When the world throws something away, it calls it worthless. When I touch what is broken, I reveal its true purpose. Do not judge your future by your present circumstances. The chapter you are living today is not the final page. Keep trusting me, even when you do not understand my timing. My timing is never late. It is never rushed. It is always perfect. Think about the sunrise. No one can force it to arrive earlier. Yet when the appointed moment comes, darkness gives way to light. That is how my promises work. At the right time, what I have prepared will appear. Not one moment too soon, not one moment too late. Ethan continued meeting Grace from time to time. Their friendship reminded him of something important. Healthy relationships are built on trust, kindness, and truth, not on fear or desperation. For the first time in years, Ethan realized he no longer needed people to complete him, because he had found completeness in my presence. This is the freedom I desire for you. When you know that my love is enough, you stop chasing approval from people who cannot give you the peace only I can provide. My child, you are already deeply loved. You do not have to earn my affection. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to pretend to be someone you are not. Come to me as you are. Bring me your fears. Bring me your disappointments. Bring me your questions. Bring me your weary heart. I am not waiting to condemn you. I am waiting to embrace you. There is someone listening right now who feels as though your best opportunities have passed. Do not believe that lie. As long as I have given you another sunrise, I still have purpose for your life. Your calling has not expired. Your hope has not expired. My promises have not expired. Keep walking with me, one faithful step at a time, one prayer at a time, one act of obedience at a time. Do not become discouraged because your progress seems slow. Even mountains are climbed one step at a time. Every prayer you pray matters. Every act of kindness matters. Every moment you choose faith instead of fear matters. I see what no one else sees. I notice every quiet act of obedience. I treasure every sacrifice made out of love. Nothing done for me is ever forgotten. One evening, Ethan looked up at the stars and smiled. Months earlier, he had looked at the same sky with tears of hopelessness. Now he whispered, "Jesus, thank you for staying with me when I thought everyone had left." The circumstances had not made him stronger. My presence had. That same strength is available to you today. You do not have to face tomorrow alone. Take my hand. Trust my heart. Walk with me. And remember this promise whenever fear whispers that you have been abandoned. When everyone walks away from you, I will still be with you. I have always been faithful. I am faithful today. And I will remain faithful forever. My beloved child, there is a burden that many people carry without realizing how heavy it has become. It is not always visible, it cannot be measured, yet it steals peace, joy, and hope. That burden is an unforgiving heart. I know why it is difficult. You remember the words that wounded you. You remember the promises that were broken. You remember the day someone chose to walk away without looking back. The memories still hurt. Sometimes they return without warning. A familiar place, a familiar song, a familiar date on the calendar. Suddenly the pain feels as fresh as it did the first time. I understand. I saw every tear. I heard every cry that no one else noticed. I know the injustice you experienced. But listen carefully, my beloved child. Do not allow the people who hurt you to continue controlling your heart. When you hold on to bitterness, you remain connected to the pain that I want to heal. Forgiveness does not say what happened was acceptable. Forgiveness says, I will no longer allow yesterday to imprison my tomorrow. I am not asking you to ignore wisdom. If someone has harmed you, healthy boundaries may still be necessary. Forgiveness is not the same as pretending nothing happened. It is choosing to place justice into my hands instead of carrying the weight yourself. Remember Ethan? By this time, his life looked different. He smiled more often. His faith had become stronger. Yet there was still one wound hidden deep inside his heart. There was one person he had never truly forgiven, his older brother, Daniel. Years earlier, a disagreement over family matters had turned into silence. Harsh words had been spoken. Pride had built a wall between them. Months became years. Neither one reached out. Each waited for the other to make the first move. Outwardly, Ethan appeared at peace, but every time he thought about Daniel, an ache returned. One evening during prayer, Ethan quietly asked, Jesus, why does this memory still hurt? I gently spoke to his heart. Because healing begins where forgiveness begins. Those words were difficult for him to accept. He wanted justice. He wanted an apology. He wanted someone else to make the first move. But my invitation was different. I asked him to trust me with the outcome. For several days, Ethan wrestled with my words. Finally, he picked up his phone. He stared at Daniel's name for a long time. His hands trembled. He whispered, Jesus, give me the courage to do what I cannot do on my own. Then he sent a simple message. I've missed you. I don't want us to live as strangers anymore. If you're willing, I'd like to talk. He did not know whether Daniel would reply. He only knew that obedience was more important than certainty. Hours passed, no answer. Then late that evening, his phone vibrated. Daniel had written back, I've been wanting to say the same thing for a long time. I just didn't know how. Tears filled Ethan's eyes. Years of silence began to melt because one person chose humility over pride. My child, not every story ends this way. Sometimes people choose not to reconcile. Sometimes they continue walking away. But your peace cannot depend on another person's decision. Your peace comes from knowing you obeyed me. Do what is right. Leave the results in my hands. There is freedom in surrender. There is peace in obedience. There is healing in forgiveness. Some of you listening today have carried pain for so long that it has become part of your identity. You tell yourself, this is just who I am now. But that is not who I created you to be. I created you to live in freedom. I created you to walk in hope. I created you to reflect my love, even in a world that often chooses hate. Do not let yesterday define the person you become tomorrow. You are not the worst thing that happened to you. You are not the cruel words someone spoke over your life. You are not your failures. You are not your regrets. You are my beloved child. That is your true identity. As Ethan continued walking with me, he noticed something remarkable. His circumstances were not perfect. He still faced challenges. He still had unanswered prayers. But he no longer carried the same weight. The chains of bitterness had fallen away. Where anger once lived, compassion began to grow. Where fear once ruled, trust began to flourish. This is what my grace does. It changes the heart from the inside out. Perhaps today you are waiting for me to change someone else. But what if I am first changing you? Not because you were the problem, but because I am preparing you for the future I have planned. A heart filled with peace can go places that a heart filled with resentment never can. Do not resist the work I am doing within you. It is shaping you into the person I created you to become. One afternoon, Ethan met Grace again. She noticed something different. You seem lighter, she said. Ethan smiled. I finally understood that I don't have to carry what Jesus has already asked me to place in his hands. Grace smiled back. That's the kind of peace I've been praying for. My beloved child, that same peace is available to you. Not because life is easy, not because everyone will suddenly understand you, not because every relationship will be restored, but because I am with you. My presence is stronger than your fear. My grace is greater than your failures. My love is deeper than your pain. So today, release the burdens you were never meant to carry. Release the bitterness. Release the fear. Release the need to control every outcome. Place it all into my hands. I am faithful, I am just, I am merciful, and I will never fail you. Remember my promise. When people misunderstand you, I am with you. When prayers seem delayed, I am with you. When the road feels lonely, I am with you. Amen. If you believe in Jesus, and if you enjoyed this video, please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and God bless you.